Hello, my beautiful friend. Welcome back to Grace Over 50. This is your space, a place where wisdom, grace, and quiet beauty are not only seen, but honored. Today, we're going to talk about something that seems small, but touches something much deeper. Your hair, more specifically, your haircut. Have you ever left the salon with a fresh bob, only to come home, look in the mirror, and think, this just doesn't feel like me? You're not alone. And you're not imagining it, because the truth is, not all bobs are created equal. Some, even the most popular ones, can quietly pull your face down, add heaviness where you want softness, and steal the light from the very features you want to shine, especially after 50, when your hair begins to change and your face carries the softness of time. A cut that once worked beautifully might suddenly feel off, but here's the good news. You don't need a makeover, you don't need to chase trends. What you need is a cut that moves with you, that lifts you, that reflects who you are now. In this video, I'll walk you through 5 common bob mistakes many women over 50 unknowingly make. Not to criticize, never, but to gently guide you toward choices that feel more like you, more natural, more elegant, more alive, and more importantly, I'll show you exactly what to do instead. If you've ever felt unseen, if your reflection hasn't quite matched how you feel inside, then please stay with me. There's healing in understanding, and there's transformation in the details. And if this speaks to you at any point, please feel free to like, to comment, and to subscribe. It helps this community grow, and your voice, your presence means everything. Now let's begin with one of the most common mistakes that often goes unnoticed, the one-length bobs. Now I know, on the surface, it seems like a safe choice. It's clean, it's classic, it's low maintenance, it looks polished on paper. But the truth is, for many of us after 50, this cut slowly begins to work against us, not because of age, but because of change. You see, our hair changes quietly but certainly. It becomes finer, less dense. Sometimes it starts growing in directions we never expected. In a bob that's cut all at one length, it doesn't leave room for any of that. There's no softness, no movement, no grace in the way it falls. It just hangs. And without realizing it, we begin to feel heavier, not just in appearance, but emotionally too. The jawline feels wider, the neck feels shorter, the shape begins to box in your face. Instead of lifting it, you might start wondering, why doesn't my makeup pop anymore? Why do my earrings look lost? Why does everything feel just a little off? It's not your age, it's not your face, and it's certainly not your fault. It's the haircut. But here's the beauty of it all. You don't need to abandon the bob, you just need to invite a little air into it. Ask your stylist for soft internal layers, the kind you can't quite see, but you feel. Ask for a bevel at the ends. Not a flip, not a curl, just a gentle inward curve that follows the line of your face and gives your profile room to breathe. This small change, it brings movement back, it brings lightness, it brings you. Suddenly, the cut starts to work with you, not against you. You won't be fussing in the mirror as much. You won't feel the need to constantly adjust, tuck, or style, because the cut will start to flow with who you are now. Now maybe you've worn a one-length bob for years, and maybe it once looked amazing. That's not something to regret, that's something to honor. But if lately it feels a little flat, a little heavy, a little outdated, it's not a failure. It's simply a sign that you've changed, and your hair can change with you. So the next time you sit in the salon chair, instead of asking for a trim, ask for intention, ask for softness, ask for movement, because hair is never just hair. It's how we greet the world, and more importantly, it's how we feel when we look at ourselves. And when your haircut lifts your spirit, as much as it lifts your cheekbones, you'll know you found something truly timeless. Now that we've softened the weight of the one-length bob, let's look at something more subtle, but just as powerful, a shape that at first glance seems edgy, fashionable, unexpected: the reverse-angled bob. It's that style where the back is longer than the front, a sharp slope that dips downward from the face toward the nape, and on paper it sounds exciting, different, maybe even youthful. But here's the part no one talks about. This shape doesn't lift, it lowers. It draws the eye down from your eyes, down from your cheekbones, and straight to the base of your neck. And for many women over 50, that's the exact opposite of what we want. Let's pause for a moment and look at it closely. When the line of your haircut dips backward, the energy of the style shifts. Instead of guiding the gaze upward toward your expression, it anchors everything below the chin. The profile becomes heavier. The shoulders carry more visual weight, and the softness around the face fades. You may not even notice it right away. But you feel it, that sense that your haircut looks good. But somehow your face doesn't feel as alive. It's not because you did something wrong, it's because design matters, and just like a beautifully tailored dress. A well-structured haircut lifts what needs lifting, and defines what deserves to be seen. So what's the gentle solution? Instead of the reverse-angled bob, consider a forward-angled bob. But with softness, not a harsh slope, not a deep line, just enough angle to give shape, without pulling focus away from you. Ask your stylist for a cut that starts slightly shorter in the back and gradually lengthens toward the front. Following the curve of your jaw, let it end near your chin, or just below it depending on your neckline and posture. This small change does something magical. It opens your face, it gives your smile room to shine, it supports your profile instead of collapsing it. It brings lightness to your presence. And here's a quiet bonus. This shape grows out beautifully because it follows your natural lines. Even as the hair lengthens, it remains harmonious, connected, elegant. But a word of caution: be careful not to go too far with the angle, sometimes in an attempt to modernize. Stylists take the slope too sharp, too dramatic, and that creates a whole new problem, one we'll talk about next. But for now, let this part settle in your heart. A haircut should never compete with your face. It should cradle it, frame it, and gently lead the eye back to you, because beauty, real beauty, is never in the haircut itself. It's in the way it lets you shine. So far, we've explored how shape matters, how the weight at the back can quietly pull us downward. Now, let's shift our gaze to the front, because sometimes, in the name of style, we take the angle too far. You've probably seen it. Maybe you've even worn it, that sharply angled bob, where the front pieces fall long, past the collarbone, while the back hugs tightly to the neck. It's bold, it's dramatic, it wants to make a statement. But here's the truth most don't realize: when the front goes too far, it stops lifting your face, it begins to drag it down visually. It pulls everything lower, it stretches the lower half of the face, the very area so many of us wish to soften as we age with grace. And it's not just the visual weight, there's a structural problem too, you see. A well-balanced bob begins just behind the ears. That's where the shape finds harmony. But when the front is taken too long, and the back stays tight, you end up with two different haircuts on one head. From the side, the style feels disconnected. From the front, your features feel hidden, overshadowed by hair that no longer supports them. And maybe you've noticed the signs. You find yourself constantly tucking the front behind your ears. You pull it back, you pin it because it feels heavy. It feels wrong. Not because you've changed, but because the haircut has lost its balance. Now, here's the good news. You don't have to give up the drama. You don't have to go back to a plain, simple cut. You just need to contain the angle and bring it back into harmony. A good rule of thumb: let the front pieces fall no lower than the top of your collarbone. That's enough length to elongate the neck without weighing down your expression. And then, add something soft. Ask your stylist for gentle face framing layers, not choppy, not shaggy, just light touches that catch the light, that move when you move. Because remember, the hair around your face isn't just part of your style, it's part of your presence. It frames your eyes, your smile, your stories. And when that frame is too heavy, too straight, too long, your true self gets muted. But with just a few thoughtful changes, a softened angle, a lifted line, a bit of movement near the cheeks, everything changes. The haircut no longer overwhelms, it uplifts. It follows the architecture of your face, not someone else's. Because aging isn't about disappearing, it's about refining, choosing shapes that rise with you, not ones that pull you down. So if you've been holding onto that sharp, angled front, but something inside you feels out of sync, Listen to that voice. You're not being critical, you're being honest. And you deserve a cut that reflects you, not a trend from a magazine. In the next part, we're going to look at something women rarely notice until it's already too late, when the back is cut too high and tight, and the entire silhouette breaks apart. Let's take a closer look. In part 4, let's talk now about something that might not be obvious when you first leave the salon, but becomes clear the moment you turn to the side: the broken back when the nape is cut too high, too tight, too sharp. At first, this kind of bob might seem stylish, modern, even edgy. It's often described as clean or structured. Some say it shows off the neck, others believe it creates a slimmer silhouette. But for many women over 50, it quietly does the opposite, because when the back is cut too high, especially above that natural curve of your skull, the occipital bone, it disconnects your haircut completely. Suddenly, you're not wearing a single flowing shape, you're wearing two: one tight cropped section in the back, and one long heavy section in the front. From the side, it doesn't flow, it stops, it cuts. It feels abrupt, like a sentence left unfinished, like something's missing. Because something is, and this becomes even more visible when the layers in the back are stacked too steeply, while the front is left untouched. That contrast, it creates a visual divide, and it quietly tells the world, this wasn't made for me. It might even feel that way to you. Now let's speak honestly. Many women in their 50s, 60s, and beyond deal with thinning at the crowns. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's part of our journey. But when the back is cut too tight, too high, with no volume at the top, it actually emphasizes the thinning. The head looks smaller, flatter, collapsed, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can still have shape, you can still have structure, but it has to be done with softness, with intention, with flow. Ask your stylist for a bob that tapers just beneath the occipital bone, not above it. Let the shortest point rest, where your skull begins to gently curve. That one shift changes everything. It keeps the silhouette grounded. It supports the front rather than fighting it. And most importantly, it lets your haircut feel connected. Now, let's talk layers. You don't need dramatic stacking. You don't need that shelf in the back. What you need is subtle graduation. Let the layers build softly. Let them breathe. Let them lift without breaking the silhouette. And here's a key detail. If your front is long, it needs layering too, because volume in the back, with no movement in the front, creates imbalance, and imbalance ages a haircut quickly. You deserve more than that, because the best bobs, the ones that feel timeless, aren't about perfection. They're about harmony, where every section supports the next, where the profile moves like poetry, not punctuation. So if your haircut feels like it ends too soon, or begins too high, if the back feels like a separate thought instead of part of the sentence, it might not be your styling, it might be the structure. And with just a few small changes, your haircut can return to something whole, something flowing, something true, because you were never meant to be divided. Not in shape, not in presence, not in spirit. Coming up next in part 5, we'll uncover a final mistake that often goes unnoticed until you see it in the mirror, when there's no layering around the face at all, and the hair becomes a wall instead of a frame. Let's explore that next. By now, you've seen how a bob can go wrong. When the ends are too blunt, when the back is too sharp, when the angle loses balance. But there's one last mistake, and it often hides right in front of us: no layering near the face. It sounds harmless, even safe, you might say. I don't want choppy layers. I just want it sleek, smooth, simple. But here's what really happens when there's zero layering around the face. While the rest of your bob has shape and structure, you end up with something jarring. The back has motion, the sides might have contour, but the front, it just hangs, flat, heavy, unmoving. It becomes a wall of hair, a curtain that falls straight down the sides of your face, hiding your features, dimming your light. And instead of drawing the eye to your expression, to your smile, to the warmth in your eyes, the attention gets pulled down, away. That's not just a styling issue, it's a design flaw, because as we age, our skin softens, our cheeks lose volume, our jawline begins to blur, and when the hair in front is thick and unlayered, it adds weight. exactly where you don't want it. It can make your face appear heavier than it really is. But with just a few thoughtful touches, everything changes. Picture this: a bob with soft stacking in the back, a gentle bevel at the ends, and around your face, delicate face framing layers, not aggressive, not trendy, just intentional. Placed to open the frame, to soften the cheek, to catch the light. These layers move when you move. They reveal, not hide. They lift, not weigh down. And suddenly, your haircut doesn't just fall, it flows. It doesn't just sit on your head. It dances with your presence. You'll notice the difference the moment you turn your head. And the hair moves with you, not against you. No more constant tucking, no more hiding behind your own haircut. Because when the front of your hair frames your expression, instead of closing it in, you shine more naturally, more fully, more you, and practically, these subtle layers make your hair fall into place. You won't need to style it every morning just to feel okay. It will simply work, because when your haircut is designed to support you, you stop working against it. So if you've ever looked in the mirror and felt like your bob is almost right, but somehow still not flattering, if the front feels flat, too thick, or dull, it's probably missing one small thing: layers around the face. And when those are done right, with softness, with purpose, with care, they don't just improve the haircut, they elevate you, because a great bob isn't just about shape, it's about harmony. And the hair that falls near your eyes should always reflect the light you already carry inside. Up next, a little bonus: a single styling mistake that undoes even the best haircut, one that so many of us do without even knowing. But once you stop, your bob will transform. Let's finish strong. In the bonus tip,